Internet, and welcome to the Square Enix booth here at E3 this year. This is the Hitman Agent 47 part of today's events, where we're going to be talking all about the upcoming movie, Hitman Agent 47. We're excited about it. E3 2015 has been a great event so far, but this, my friends, is going to be the highlight. So I'm glad you're tuning in with us. I'm Matt Pat, host of the YouTube series Game Theory and recently Film Theory, where if you're not familiar with us, basically we overthink video games and movies, apply math and science. It's basically the nerdy education channels and the nerdy video game and movie channels fused into one, making like super nerdy channel, but you know, that's beside the point. Today, we're talking about both of those things, video games, movies, Hitman Agent 47. So I'm sure a lot of you guys watching right now are probably pretty familiar with the lore around the Hitman franchise. But for those of you who aren't, or those of you who need a little bit of a refresher, here we go. So Hitman Agent 47 centers around an elite assassin who's been genetically engineered to basically be this super killer, right? He's been genetically engineered through various iterations of the Hitman, right? So there's been 46 agents prior to this, and this one is Agent 47. He's super fast, he's super strong, and he's super aware of all of his surroundings. And the only way that he can be identified is by the last two numbers on the barcode that's been tattooed on the back of his head. So there have been multiple agent clones here. This one follows Agent 47, who is played by Rupert Friend, who you might be aware of from the TV show Homeland. I know I'm a fan of that one. There's also Zachary Quinto, who you might know from Star Trek, but my personal favorite role of his is from American Horror Story. And then there's also Hannah Ware. There's Kieran Hines, Thomas Kretschmann, and also Emilio Rivera. But where the Hitman Agent 47 movie differs, actually, is in the inclusion of a new character, a strong female with a mysterious background called Katya Von Dies. And we're going to be lucky enough to have her in the studio today to talk to her a little bit about her role in the franchise as well. So as the movie goes on, start to find out a little bit more about her backstory and how she fits into this agent program. It's pretty exciting. I was lucky enough to see the movie a little bit before it hit theaters. I think there's something to be excited about if you're a fan of the games, if you're not a fan of the games, but it's pretty incredible. So that being said, it's coming out August 21st, so to get you ready for it, let's first toss to the trailer and get you caught up.
Why don't we start with your name?
47.
That's not a name.
No, but it is mine.
What exactly are you?
An assassin.
And you're here to kill who?
You should really let me go.
Last time I checked, you're the one locked in here with me, and I'm the one with the gun.
No, Mr. Sanders. You're locked in here with me, and you just brought me mine.
Look, I know this is gonna sound strange, because it is. He's an engineered human being. Stronger, faster, more intelligent than normal people. They're called agents.
What does any of this have to do with me?
Your father started the agent program. He knows their weakness. You're the key to finding your father.
Pretty awesome, right? And that interrogation scene in there that you saw in there, probably like one of the most exciting action sequences I've seen in a movie in a long time. Very original stuff that you're going to see throughout this. The action sequences, whether you're a fan of the series or not, are incredibly fun, incredibly original, and just really awesome to see, like edge of your seat. So that being said, as you saw in the trailer, it's coming out August 21st, but leading up to that is the 47 days of Hitman. So every day leading up to the release, starting on, let me double check here, Monday, July 6th. I can't do the math in my head that easily, so I had to check the notes. But for 47 days this summer, the Hitman franchise is going to be everywhere. So starting Monday, July 6th, every day there's going to be a new Hitman activation happening somewhere online where new content is going to be released. It's going to be, it's all going to be aggregated on foxmovies.com. There's going to be exclusive artwork, some exclusive videos, alternate costumes, chats with the cast, any other ways that you can engage with this thing. It's going to be incredible. And a part of that actually is going to be a new comic that's going to be debuting, which basically tells a prequel story to what you're going to be seeing in the movie. And with that being said, we're lucky enough to have in the studio the creator of that comic, F.J. DeSanto. If you'd come on out, sir. Thanks for joining us. Hey, it would be nice if there were other people here, so that way, you know, we could play off each other.
Poor guys. I hope they pay them for that.
Hey, well, we're all excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, of course.
Awesome. So, tell me a little bit about your experience working with this comic.
Well, it's a fascinating thing because I got a call from Adrian, the producer, who will be on here later, and who basically said to me, hey...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
yeah.
No spoilers.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I didn't
No,
mean
it's fine.
And he said to me, hey, you're going to write Hitman prequel comic. And I said, I am?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. And, you know, I come from a background of, I've done Star Trek, I've done Star Wars, I've written all these other things. And the excitement of sort of taking a character that had never been done in comics before was utterly fascinating. And so Adrian had sort of worked with Boom Studios to put together this book. And, you know, it required a lot of sort of research into, okay, what are you doing with the movie? And how do you create something that services the movie and but also stands alone as a cool comic, but also can be accessible to all the fans of the franchise, but also new fans. If somebody wanted to come into it, you know, brand new, cold into this would be a cool entry point.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, this is a prequel story to the actual events that we're going to see in the movie, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And what was that process like? Actually, you know, that collaborative process, working with the movie team, working on the comic yourself. How was there a lot of give and take? Were you included in kind of the production process? How did that go?
I was fortunate enough to sort of stay throughout the whole thing, but what was sort of, you know, I had to go to a locked room at Fox and read the script because the movie wasn't done, and you know,
they have like a vault that you have to go into, and
really it was just like a chair, you know, in a room, and so you had to read the script. And then there was a lot of sort of back and forth between Boom and Adrian in particular, because Adrian's sort of like the gatekeeper of the franchise. He's the guy who understands, you know, the game, the movie, what the comic should be. And we sort of hatched this story out. I sort of threw some ideas around and you know, and then it developed relatively quickly because you understand where the movie starts and sort of, you know, like I said before, how do you do something that's self-contained but also is a cool, if you go and see the movie and you know the comic, you go into it with even much more information about what's going on. And when Boom brought in this artist, this guy Jesus, who's incredible, you know, we started to get the tone of it, et cetera. And like I said, I don't want to do any spoilers, but you know, it came together very quickly. But the idea was also, how do we capture in these 22 pages a cool story that, you know, has the flavor and feel of the game and the movie, that fans can sit there and go, okay, they get this, they understand this, and it's something respectful of the franchise as a whole.
So how closely to the lore of the games, the existing lore of the games, does this prequel story adhere?
I think in terms of what he does and how he operates, it does.
Yes.
You know, and again, the story is driven by the movie.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there going, okay, we need to get to point A to point B in these 22 pages. You know, but we'll sit there and like I said, Adrian, sort of the gatekeeper of this, he's sort of saying there, he would do this here if it wasn't something in the right tone. Yeah. But we were all familiar enough to sit there and understand that, you know, he's going to use this weapon, you know, the silver balls, or he's going to, you know, strangle somebody out. And to be honest, you know, as a writer, it's a lot of fun to sit there and take this iconic character and sort of be able to come up with something that he does that's unique to this.
Yeah, and actually, you mentioned his weapons, right? That was one thing that I forgot to mention earlier. But to fans of the franchise, all of his signature weapons, the Hitman signature weapons, you know, the fiber wire, the silver ball, those are all there, as well as the signature costume changes that the franchise is known for too.
Well,
so
yeah, that was a big thing that we sort of said around. We need to get him again. I don't want to spoil too much,
of course,
but all those elements that you're talking about were all talked about in advance. You know, how do we sort of weave those things into the story we've come up with?
So that being said, are there any Easter eggs for people who have read the comics that are now going to go see the movie then? And like, will they see kind of the callbacks to the comics, or how is there a give and take there?
Well, I mean,
little inside jokes
bit.
or anything?
There's a couple of little things in there. I mean, it's not much because you only have 22 pages to
Of
sort
course.
of do this. And like I said, it's sort of designed to get new fans invested, or fans of the movie. Like, you know, I hope somebody who sees the movie and has never played the game or will seek out the game and the comic book. You know, and how do you? It's all world building in the end for us.
And have you played the Hitman games?
Oh, of course.
And have you beaten the Hitman? Because they're hard games. Don't get me
No.
wrong. Like, they are challenging
No, I'm not.
games.
I'm not. You know, like I love it. I'm not as good as most. So I watch my 17-year-old nephew play it. You know, it's more like watching a cool movie.
Yeah.
And then I'll play it and he'll go, no, get out of here. I know what I'm doing when I'm stuck shooting everybody in the room.
So modern games or retro
No.
games?
I love all modern games.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes it's a little difficult.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you on.
Yes.
So I think at this point now we're going to start bringing on Adrian and Hannah,
All good.
the producer, as well as Hannah, who is
All right,
the
I'm hopping
mysterious Katya Van Dies. Oh, but before we bring them out, sorry. Yes, thank you. Oh, you can head on out. You're all done and set to go. But they're reminding me that we actually have a trailer for the comic itself. So let's roll that trailer so that way you guys can start to see a little preview of the prequel story that's going to be coming out during the 47 Days of Hitman. I'm excited about that. You know, it's going to be, again, this is coming out as a part of the 47 Days of Hitman. The art style looks incredible. FJ DeSanto has been fantastic working on it. Very interesting how it's going to play into the lore that you're going to see play out during the movie. And with that being said, speaking of the movie, let's bring out the producer, who is Adrian Iscaria, and also actress Hannah Ware, who plays the mysterious Katya Van Dies. Plays a pretty crucial role in this. Thank you. Yes, give it up. Give it up. We're in a sound booth. The crowd out there is going uproariously, right, guys? Nothing. Wow, nothing. No response from the guys outside of the booth. Hey, it's great to have you. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. Hey, nice to meet you. Great to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Nice meeting you guys. So, we just heard a little bit about the comic, but now I want to hear a little bit from your guys, the movie perspective, right? So, Adrian, if you can tell us a little bit about what it was like to translate a video game, a very interactive medium, into, you know, a movie, an on-screen experience where now all of a sudden you're appealing to both gamers and non-gamers alike, action fans, things like that.
Well, I mean, our first goal was to make a movie, first and foremost. And, you know, it happens to be based on a very popular and iconic video game. But, you know, it was always going to be a real movie for us. And, you know, when you're approaching something from that perspective, you take what's best about the original material, what, you know, has made it what it is, and what the fans love about it, and you bring it to a different medium. And, you know, understanding what the requirements of that translation are. So that was I would say, you know, if there was one rule on this movie, is we are not making a video game movie.
Yeah.
We are making a real movie based on a video game.
Great, and that's good to hear because a lot of times video game movies do get a tough rap, right? So,
Sure, yeah.
so focusing primarily on making the good movie, I think, is the right way to start. But that being said, a lot of people watching are going to be fans of the franchise. So, as fans of the Hitman series, what sort of elements can they expect that they'll recognize from the games?
Well, a lot. I mean, you know, 47 is one of the most iconic
He is,
characters
absolutely.
in the history of video games and now pop culture.
Yes.
So they're going to get the real version of 47, you know, in a cinematic incarnation.
Mhm.
They're gonna get the stealth action, the rich history of the character, the mythology of the world that he exists and operates in, and a lot of other surprises that I can't go into, but
course.
ties directly into the mythology of the games that have been propagated by Square Enix for the past 15 years.
Right.
Well, actually, IDOS before Square Enix.
Right,
and
right.
now-
Yeah, this goes way back, right?
Yes.
So what
2000.
excited you about this project? Like, why was this a property or a franchise that you saw and you're like, I want to make this into a big screen experience?
Well, I'm a video game fan. You know, I don't play it as much as I used to.
Sure,
but I
sure.
used to be an avid
What's your
Game-
favorite, Adrian?
Hitman, Agent 47.
Oh well, good answer. Good answer.
So
Have you beaten the game? I asked FJ this, but have you beaten the Hitman games ever?
I-
they are legitimately very hard.
Blood Money was the last one I
Okay,
beat.
okay, that's a good
but
one.
not Absolution.
Sure.
I was a huge fan. I couldn't believe the rights were available, and on a lark, went up north to San Francisco, met with great people at IDOS, and ended up getting the rights. But the impetus behind that was he is such a cinematic character. A lot of video games are great video games, but
Yeah.
they're very generic. This one felt very cinematic
Yes.
and had this central character, so I just.
And how long did it take to put this together? Because there are some.
25 years. I was 12 when I started.
Okay, wow. Well then, that's quite the development process.
See the white hair?
I see that.
Well, look, the first one actually happened very quickly. We got the rights in 2005, and the movie came out in 2007. And then it took a long time to come up with this one. And our goal was to try to put together a story and a approach to the character that we could reboot the entire franchise, and I think we did. And she's a big part of it.
Right, and actually, so the reboot part is one that I'd like to touch on really quickly, and I'm not meaning to ignore you, but we'll
God,
no
you're
no
not.
no
I'm very
we'll be
happy.
talking
can
all about
guarantee-
talking all about you and your process
Nobody
for a
wants
while.
to hear from me, trust me.
No, I think this is really interesting because you mentioned the previous Hitman movie. So people who saw that, what makes this different? You mentioned this is a reboot to the
Yeah,
to
this
the
has
franchise.
nothing to do with that one, other than
Good. So I just wanted to make sure that people who had seen that either when it was in theaters or home video or whatever, that this is not in that continuity. This is a whole
Not at all.
reboot to the franchise. It's kind of a new spin on it.
This is a new spin. It's a reboot. It's a new actor, Rupert Friend, playing Agent 47.
Yes.
It is what we hope to be the beginning of the quintessential Hitman cinematic franchise.
Okay, great, good. So, were there any elements? Because I noticed watching the movie, there are definite moments that feel like a video game mission. One sequence in particular feels like a very stealth mission that's inserted into the middle of the movie, which is fantastic. I love that sequence. Were there any elements of the game that you couldn't translate or that kind of had to be left on the cutting room floor?
Well, look, when you're dealing with a developing of a script for a film, you have to be first and foremost true to what the story of the film is going to be and how
Yes.
the characters are going to be
Yes.
serviced. You can't worry about set pieces too much.
Right.
But this is Hitman, this is Agent 47, and there is a huge fan base and a legacy. So we were very cognizant of putting sequences like the one you're referring to in the movie as
Yes.
long as it made sense in the context of the larger story.
Right.
That was our cardinal rule.
Sure. And now speaking of the overall larger context of the story, so Hannah, you play Katya, right? Katya.
Yeah.
Am I?
No, no,
is
it's very
is my accent bad?
No, not
Katya. Sorry.
No, I wasn't doing anything.
No, it's quite all right. So, and you are a completely original character
Yeah.
to the Hitman lore, right? Kind of just created for this movie. Can you tell me a little bit about your character without going too much into spoiler territory? Because she's kind of important. Just so
I am
you know.
important. I play a woman who 47 enlists in some capacity to help with his latest target, his latest mission. We sort of go on this ride together and become this odd duo, which help further his mission and my own personal mission that I'm on, and that's where you meet Katya at the beginning of the story.
Right, and your character is an incredibly empowered, strong woman. I mean, you're out there kicking just as much, ASS. Am I allowed to say that? This is the internet, so that's not really a curse word. But you're kicking as much butt as Agent 47 is in there. So how was it playing against Rupert? At kind of his empowered self. You guys make a pretty killer duo. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, it was slightly intimidating at the beginning because
Sure.
he's Quinn from Homeland.
Mhm.
So I've seen him disassemble guns at a speed that.
And you're not doing that on a regular basis?
Surprisingly not. But
Okay.
now I do.
Uh-huh.
I actually left some firearms at a hotel once.
Really?
During this whole process.
So
yeah.
I was gonna say, so what was your training process like? Because there is a lot of like gun handling, there is a lot of action sequences, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you had kind of like the stunt people come in for. But
Yeah.
what training did you have leading up to taking on this role?
Oh, we worked really hard.
Mhm.
I mean, this was my first sort of role like this, so
Mhm.
I wasn't accustomed to guns
Sure.
at all.
Uh-huh.
And my gun etiquette was terrible at the
Okay.
beginning.
any key points that
Well,
we
just like
so our
waving the
audience can
gun
take-
around in between takes when I
Yeah,
was
just-
trying to communicate something and
Uh-huh.
no one was understanding me,
threatening
so
people,
I'd be
"Give me my
forgetting
craft
ahead."
table.
It was like a handbag I'd throw around. Yeah, that thing. Adrian knows that one.
She actually picked things up very quickly.
Mhm.
She had a lot to do in this movie.
Oh yeah, you're
had it on
you're all
stage.
over the place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We-
You also go through a variety of different looks, and you kind of throughout the movie. It's really this isn't a spoiler, but you go through kind of your own training process, which
Yeah,
is very cool as
definitely.
you follow Agent 47 through the
Yeah.
events of the film, which is
Yeah.
great.
I mean, we both have our own personal character arcs,
Mhm.
but they're both sort of inform each other's
Mhm.
and are integral to each other's,
Right.
and are both personal and physical.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Hmm. And was it weird or awkward in any capacity to be an entirely new character, kind of being fit into this established lore, this established world of the Hitman franchise?
Not really, because as Adrian said, we set out first and foremost to make a movie,
Mhm.
and although it's based on this wonderful video game, which
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a gamer as
Sure.
such, but when I first watched Hitman and tried to play it a few times,
I was gonna say, did you play it as
yeah,
part
I'm
of
a
the
novice
research
though.
then? Okay.
I wouldn't pretend to be anything otherwise, but I was really impressed stylistically. I thought it was beautiful, and I really understood why it would make a great iconic film.
Mhm.
But we really did feel liberated because we started from a point of making a movie,
Mhm.
and this was just a great springboard.
Yeah.
And same goes for my character. My character wasn't in the franchise, so I felt incredibly liberated and just looked at this woman's story and her journey like I take every character that I start off with and
Sure.
and take it from that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Any funny behind the scenes sort of stories that you can share with us, or any dirt about the mysterious
be so
agent or
mean.
anything? I don't know. It's the internet. We like gossiping. We like this sort of stuff.
Zach and I,
Mhm.
we spent a lot of time together, and we're writing. I haven't told you about this. We're writing a spin-off called Operation 44,
Okay.
and it's the experience.
They're the
Sorry.
prequel to the
No, no,
prequel
it's all
comic.
right, of course not.
Part
My-
of Agent
my attorneys
47
will be in
Days
touch
of
with you very
Hitman.
shortly. Or actually, Fox's attorneys.
Okay,
Go
fair
ahead.
enough.
It'll be like the skit sitcom of what it was like to be on set of Agent 47.
Really? Oh, coming to a web series
Odd
near you,
little
or
moments
part of the 47 Days of Hitman, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bonus scene.
That's actually a great idea.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. You could absolutely do that. Some bonus scenes. Is it like slapstick comedy, or?
It's sort of those. It's like when you enter the Twilight Zone, which we did when we were doing nights,
Mhm.
and you have very peculiar conversations in really weird places.
Mhm.
I remember being stuck in a car with Zach for long periods of time
Uh-huh.
and realizing he didn't know who Kate Bush was, and I was enraged at 4 a.m. on a street in Berlin, and also the smell of Cinnabons.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
In the train station.
We shot at Alexanderplatz for 2 nights running, and it was just sort of like it was like Groundhog Night.
Mhm.
And the only thing that was open, and the only thing I'll ever remember about that whole experience, other than having I looked like an albino rabbit. I think you had to colour grade me.
You look
Do you remember that? My eyes went bright
We
red.
did not. No. It was for the part. It was for the part.
Well,
You were very stressed. 47 was after you. So.
Yes, someone was after me.
It's a good character.
One brilliant entrepreneur in Berlin decided it would be a great idea to open up the Cinnabon shop.
That one shack right by the tracks.
He
Yeah,
must
that's
have
right.
made so much business that
Yeah.
night, but all I can remember is feeling a bit sick in the morning because you just smelled cinnamon everywhere. So that was another.
Cinnabon at
See how
any
top-
hour of
see
the
how
day.
top actors have it?
Right?
The
I know.
smell of
Oh my
cinnamon
gosh,
on
my
set is
stomach hurt
terrible.
from eating too much Cinnabon at 4
Oh,
in the
God.
morning. It's never too late for Cinnabon. Apparently, the Square Enix Hitman Agent 47
We were
live stream
fueled on
brought
Cinnabon.
to you by Cinnabon. So there you go.
Good, yeah.
You just gave us a new sponsor. Thanks.
Right? Yeah, there you go. So contact
Kinder eggs as well.
contact one of these guys. But hey, I want to thank you both for being a part of this, and I believe at this point we're going to be
Thanks
tossing
for
it
having
to
us.
a new featurette that is going to be, what was that?
So thanks for having us.
Oh no, of
Thank
course,
you.
no, thank you guys. And now we're going to toss it to a new featurette that's going to tease a little bit more about Hitman.
Great.
So, why don't we start with your name?
47.
It's not a name.
No, but it is mine. I play Agent 47, who is a clone and an assassin.
The bald head, the barcode. Agent 47 is just one of the most iconic pop culture characters in history.
The most important thing is that everything what we try to do is character driven.
What do I have to do?
I was intrigued by the idea of someone who's had their emotions genetically removed and how they might manifest themselves.
He's methodical, he's intelligent, he is the ultimate puppet master.
He's 10, 15 moves ahead. That's one of the things that make this character very unique.
You know who I am.
Every time, the interrogation scene, every time I see it, by far, like, one of my favorite moments from that film.
People love that scene.
It's phenomenal. It's so original. It's like I said it earlier in the live stream, but really every single action sequence has such a unique twist to it. It's very, very cool.
We're very, cognizant of trying to make it fresh and,
Yeah.
and pop. And wait till you see what she does in the movie. So,
Well, no spoilers, no spoilers. But thank you both for coming in today, Adrian, Hannah, as well as FJ, who we had earlier, doing the prequel comic book, which will be coming out as a part of the 47 Days of Hitman. But if you're also a fan of the game or really excited about the movie, there is a way that you can get involved in the whole process. So part of the promotion around the movie is going to feature a contest that's going to be run on IGN. Basically, it's called the Search for Agents 1 through 46. So as you can tell by the title, and if you're familiar with the games, this movie features Agent 47. So what happened to the other 46 agents, right? Well, if you enter on IGN's Facebook page with any original photo inspired by the Hitman franchise, you could be chosen to become an official agent. And what that means, because I heard that and I'm like, what does that mean? Well, what that means is that you're gonna potentially win some agent gear, you're gonna get your own agent identity, movie tickets, signed autographed memorabilia, and there's a lot of other stuff too. So it's a pretty cool idea. If you want to do it, it's a photo of you inspired by Hitman on the IGN Facebook page. Remember, that's IGN. It's facebook.com/IGN, and enter the original Hitman photo in order for your chance to win. It's movie tickets, anything. Pretty cool opportunity. Thank you to you guys once again for being on board. Amazing live stream here. And then finally, keep your eyes peeled for the next Hitman trailer, which is going to be rolling out. And don't miss Hitman Agent 47 coming to theaters once again, August 21st.